How's it going, everyone? This is the George here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Sinners. That's right, even though Sinners has been out for a few weeks, I finally got to see it this weekend. And this movie was directed by Ryan Coogler, who is known for directing Creed and the Black Panther movies and Fruitvale Station, and stars Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, Miles Keaton in his first role ever. This was his introduction role. And this movie is about two twin brothers that Michael B. Jordan both plays, returning to their hometown after going to Chicago and taking some stolen money and want to build their own juke joint. But vampire stuff is about to happen in this 1930s horror movie. Now, I've heard a lot of buzz about this movie, and I was curious about it, but I haven't gotten a chance to see it because the weekend it came out, I was coming back home from being away on vacation. So I didn't feel like seeing a movie right when I came back from vacation. Then the following weekend, Revenge of the Sith's 20th anniversary came out, and then last weekend, Thunderbolts came out. And I was happy I saw those movies because I enjoyed the heck out of those movies. I love Revenge of the Sith, and Thunderbolts was a great movie. But I still wanted to see Sinners. I love Ryan Coogler as a director. His first Creed movie, well, the only Creed movie he's directed, that not only rejuvenated the Rocky franchise and showed that a spin off franchise can work as well as a legacy sequel can work, but Creed was just a fantastic movie. Once again, also stars Michael B. Jordan. Black Panther, great movie. I love Black Panther, the first one. It's one of my favorite MCU solo movies. Black Panther Wakanda Forever, despite losing Chadwick Boseman and obviously not caving to the pressure of recasting T'Challa, he did the best that he could with that movie. And he also, his first movie that I directed, Fruitvale Station, a emotional movie based on a tragic event that did happen. But we never saw Ryan Coogler do his own original work. It's always been a movie based off something that really did happen in the past, like Fruitvale Station, or established IPs like Black Panther and Creed. And this was also going to be the first horror movie that he did. And horror's been on a really good rise these last few years, especially the vampire portion of horror. Nosferatu, which came out at the end of 2024, was one of the best movies of last year. I think it's a crime that that movie didn't get that many nominations for the Academy Awards. Did it even get nominated for Academy Awards? I don't even remember. But that was a terrific movie. And Sinners being a movie that takes place in a certain portion of history, the early 1930s, where you're in the Great Depression, post World War One, beginning of World War Two, taking place in the South Mississippi during the Jim Crow era, where these characters are going to deal with a lot of backwards thinking racists. You wonder how's this going to happen? What can Ryan Coogler do to stand out? And I think he did a great job of standing out. This movie is probably, in my opinion, the best movie Ryan Coogler has done. Now, a lot of people might get impatient with this movie because it does take a while for the horror portion, the portion with the vampire stuff, to happen. The first half of the movie is basically these two brothers coming back home, trying to build up their juke joint, recruiting people to help them out, getting some musical talent. We're being introduced to other characters that are going to be important in this movie. The love interests of both these brothers. And then it's the second half where you really get to see the vampire horror action stuff happening. But the first half does such a great job of building it up, trying to understand what character relations there are, establishing what characters are going to be important. And yeah, the Michael B. Jordan's characters, the twins, they're important as well. But it's really the character that Miles Keaton plays, Sammy, their cousin, who has this musical gift to him. And I gotta say, Miles Keaton does such a great job, and he's got a bright future as an actor. I really enjoyed his performance in this movie. And I gotta say, while we're still on the topic of the music in this movie, even though it's not a musical, the movie is great. There's moments where they're blending music of the 1930s with the music of the future. I think that was really cool. There's a sequence, not much of a spoiler because this movie's been out for a few weeks, so minor spoiler. There's a sequence where the vampires are dancing and they're singing, and it's pulled off so well. And it's like there's only one other director that I can see pulling this off very well, and that would be Sam Raimi. No one else would probably be able to pull this off, but Ryan Coogler does it so perfectly well. The horror elements, I'll say this: there's going to be comparisons to movies like From Dusk Till Dawn, and maybe with how some of the vampire expressions are, like when the characters turn to vampires, how their faces look, almost reminded me a little bit of The Evil Dead. But it's not like this is like Evil Dead with vampires or another From Dusk Till Dawn. This still feels like its own unique story that's just built up very well. And this is a movie that's around 2 hours and 17 minutes. And Ryan Coogler utilizes this time so well. If you watch some of my reviews from last year, you would know that I was getting annoyed with some of the pacing of movies. Like it felt like endings of movies were getting rushed, or like certain things were getting rushed in movies. Ryan Coogler takes his time with this movie and takes his time so well. And some people might get annoyed, especially because it feels like the movie could have ended at certain points, but then something else happens in the next 10 minutes. You think it's going to end, and then something else happens. But honestly, I didn't mind that, especially because there is a mid credit scene. But honestly, I don't think it was necessary to be a mid credit scene. You could have just had that as a scene in the movie, because it's actually a really important mid credit scene, probably longer than any MCU, DC, whichever other franchises have done mid credit scenes. Very long scene, but you probably could have just put that in there before the credits started rolling. But again, every minute of this movie feels important and necessary. I'm looking at this movie, and usually there's stuff that I would think, okay, they could have cut that out, or maybe they could have focused less on that. Honestly, I feel like this movie wouldn't need to cut something out or add on to it. I think Ryan Coogler timed this movie out pretty well. Lula Gorasan, sorry if I mispronounced that name. Great score as always. He makes some terrific scores. I love the score for Oppenheimer a lot. He does a terrific score here. Michael B. Jordan playing two different characters, these twin brothers, does such a great job of making them unique from each other, giving them their own different personality. I think it works very well with how he does it. Got Smoker and Stack, that's the two brothers' names. Haley Steinfeld in this movie as well. I've always been a Haley Steinfeld fan, and her character in this movie, she really shows her range as an actress. Like, she's always been a great actress. She was I'm sure she was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actress or Best Supporting Actress for True Grit when she was a teenager. Does such a great job of showing her range as an actor here. And we already saw it in the trailers. We know she becomes a vampire based on the trailers, so it's not a spoiler. When she turns into a vampire, wow, she does such a great job of capturing that change with her character so well. And this is a much more grown up role for Haley Steinfeld, and she pulls it off so well. Like, there's actors that you grew up with, or who are around your age, and you're like, you're so used to seeing that actor playing character that's basically around your age, and then it's like, oh wow, we're realizing that as we're growing up, the actors are growing up and they're taking on these more mature adult roles, and she does such a great job with that in here as well. The one character's name was Cornbread, bread that was the bouncer. You know, his face looked so familiar. It was Omar Miller, is the name, and I recognized him as, I don't know if anyone's ever remembers from the first Transformers movie. He was Anthony Anderson's character's cousin when the FBI breaks in when they're looking into the Sector 7 stuff, and he's the one that running in the backyard going, "I'm just the cousin. I'm just the cousin." Man, I can't believe that. Like, I can't believe that guy was in this movie. He was pretty cool as well in this movie as well. You got Delroy Lindo, who plays Delta Slim. Love his character. I thought his character provides some really good laughs, but also some very good heartfelt moments as well. The 1930s setting is captured very well in this movie, from the costumes to the setting that they're in. Because, as I said before, it takes place in the 1930s, and obviously it was a rough time in that era for blacks in the South, and it shown. I mean, they buy the land that they buy for this juke joint, they buy off a pretty open racist guy. The first people that become vampires in this movie are Klans members. So they don't hide the fact that this is a movie that takes place at a time where Jim Crow and other racist stuff was happening in this portion, this particular state at this particular time. We also explore the brothers' history. We learned that not only were they doing stuff in Chicago that was connected to Al Capone, but they fought against Germany in World War One. They've had a rough history with their father. Like, I feel like they explored everything about these characters' history so well without having to show flashback sequences. Like, you would think like this would, like, most directors would show flashback sequences, and Ryan Coogler has even done this before as well in some of his movies. He's shown flashbacks. There were flashback sequences in Fruitvale Station. There were flashback sequences in Black Panther. But Ryan Coogler doesn't need to even rely on that when explaining the backstory of these brothers. So he does such a great job with that. And when the vampire horror stuff happens, it's bloody, it's action packed. Does such a great job. The music's terrific as well, and all these themes that Ryan Coogler has incorporated into this horror movie. Horror, action, historical fiction, music. You do have love stories in this movie. You got stories of family in here. He combines it so well. And if it was any other director, I think it could have ended up being messy. But it doesn't. He does such a great job here. And there wasn't really anything I disliked about this movie. I didn't really find any issue with the movie, other than maybe that the mid-credit scene, as I said before, didn't need to be a mid-credit scene. You just could have probably thrown that into the movie before the credits, which, I mean, people are going to ask the question, is Sinners going to become a franchise? Honestly, I don't think it needs to. I think this movie's fine as a one and done. If Ryan Coogler wants to come back and he has an idea for a spinoff or a sequel to Sinners, I'm game for it. But if someone else takes over, if Warner Brothers is like, hey, this movie's made so much money, let's make a franchise off of it, and Coogler's not interested, I think you should just leave it. I think you should leave it. I think it's better off being one and done. Not every horror movie has to have a sequel. Not every horror movie has to become a franchise. But, I mean, if Coogler's game for more and he's got great ideas and he's a great director, there's not one movie of his that I've disliked, then I'm up for it. I really am. And I love this partnership that him and Michael B. Jordan have. Michael B. Jordan's one of my favorite actors out there, and I can't wait to see what other stuff him and Coogler do if they continue this partnership. But yeah, overall with Sinners, this movie has lived up to the hype. I've enjoyed the horror aspect, the historical aspect, the themes and setting aspect, the action aspect, and I don't know how much longer this movie's going to be in theaters, but if you haven't seen it, go see it, because I have a feeling it's going to leave theaters in the next couple weeks. But yeah, overall, I'm going to give Sinners an A+. This is definitely the best movie of 2025. I'm not saying that 2025 has had bad movies this year. I mean, we've had Thunderbolts, which was great. I enjoyed The Day the Earth Blew Up. But obviously, we need to have better original movies. Don't get me wrong. I love the IP franchise movies. I've done a lot of reviews on them on this channel, but I also enjoy the original stuff, because all these franchises, they started off as original IPs. I mean, Star Wars started off back in 1977 as an original IP created by George Lucas that expanded into a franchise. But again, not everything has to be a franchise. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Sinners. And what did you think about Sinners? And do you have a favorite Ryan Coogler movie in particular, whether it's Sinners or maybe Creed or Black Panther? Or what's your favorite movie of 2025 so far? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe already if you haven't. And please share this with someone who saw Sinners and enjoyed Sinners. And I hope to see you guys real soon. Take care, everyone.